has been very useful thus far, and I feel like this is going to be the comp we see a lot from O2 Blast during 2-2-2 lock. They want that immortality field, they want the extra damage. Just allow for Proper to do what Proper do.
Morrison's going to take a random pot shot. Although he's going to stick on it, actually, I say that. Fritz is going to use that Xayah instead of a Hog or a Diva in this comp. He's going to get a whole bunch of charge because of the spam. We are Vancouver. We live in a time where it is moving on towards Korean Contenders, apparently. I mean, you're going to get a lot of charge, but the value you're going to get here is really just kind of firing around these shields and hopefully you can just kind of run it into them. But you haven't got a Lucio to do that, really. GC Busan now taking the fight to the ground as O2 Blast do end up falling off the high ground. Junko ends up going down first, though. That's... that immortality throw from Daydream, only slightly too late.
Questionable. Proper's going to continue throwing out these arrows. Remember, he can get these one-shot kills on the Mei. That's one of his main objectives, to mitigate any of those potential sustain tools the Mei has, while also trying to mitigate the damage Ritz can do. Ritz is so far away from his main tank, though. That's not good. Mandu who's down, and now they can just advance onto Kaiser, forced out before the fight.
Although you say that, they do trade a damage dealer for a support, and now not much is going to come through as Edison does end up falling down. However, I say that, there's going to be a lot more damage now as Daydream uses that amplification matrix. Blizzard thrown out by Delight 2, separating the entirety of O2 Blast off of this point. Pelican did not stand a chance regardless of that transcendence going off by Myungbong. There will be a Dragon Strike coming through. That hole a little bit wide. Doesn't quite drag Ritz back in. But O2 Blast struggling to gain semblance of control here on this point as Proper falls down once again.
And he does, and now it's just going to be the rest of GC Busan Wave rushing over. But that was so smart from the side of GC Busan Wave. Delight put down the Blizzard on top of Pelican while he was in Icebox, because he knew that basically they were like 10% away from capping. Pelican couldn't stay on the point, so they forced Myungbong to use his own Transcendence to come in while he was invincible, keep that point contested. The second that's used, the field was like, oh, so they can't use a support in return, we're just going to rush forward with our own Transcendence. They've used theirs to contest. There's no such onus on us to use it in a similar way, so we can be aggressive. They are going to have that, though, to deal with a Blizzard, which is ready to go from Pelican. Not going to be able to eat that either. Ritz doesn't have that mitigation tool, does have the projected and personal barriers to avoid freezing, but it's going to be drawn into the enemy. Oh, that's not great.
That would seem like a panic grab, but might not be so panicked as he lets loose the Dragon Strike as well. Edison finds 2 kills, but the amplification matrix now being available for Daydream could seal the deal. Kaiser picks up 2, but they might not even be able to control this point now, or this corner. If Daydream gets him round this small bend here, so much damage can be unleashed, not only from Jungkook, but Fielder too. I've got to be careful if you're O2 Blast, though. You have got a lot of space that you've kind of given up already. Doesn't like GC Busan, are going to halt for the time being, but now getting the payload moving as they do manage to clamor at 6 once again.
There's the perfect placement, but it is counted out by the enemy's amplification matrix as well. You need to get around there, Krong. Use that matrix, my dude.
He's got 2 matrix coming out, plus the supercharger as well. O2 Blast doing a ton of damage. Your own wall, unfortunately, blocking Krong's hook. Unfortunate there. Pelican not quite communicating with Krong also well, but they still managed to find the kill on Delight. So we are good for the time being. 3 minutes on the board as well. So GC Busan still have a lot of time to maneuver with. However, O2 Blast, they got ults online, they got a whole hog plus the Dragon Strike.
And this is a tough place to wipe jaws. Every single death will cost you a lot in terms of time. It takes you so long to get back to where the car currently is. They're lacking the ultimates right now. Edison and Delight, if they hit a couple of shots, will have a lot of playmaking potential. Nothing from the Halt hook this time. A great wall from Delight will save his team, but the Dragon coming through the side, Delight forced to use his Ice Block.
Yeah, Immortality Field is going to get used as well to stop all that damage coming through. Good use of it so far. Oh, Pelican actually gets hooked actually on the back side of that one. That's fairly unfortunate for O2 Blast right now. Still Proper up and alive, but that Dragon Strike's going to cause them to back off for the time being. You see Kaiser actually gets hooked straight on in again. Discord Orb's going to get applied, but the problem is, once more, the Immortality Field from Mandu has been so good at keeping the rest of his team alive, but now he doesn't have it for the oncoming Blizzard. GC Busan roll through his second point. Couple more meters will do it. They sink it on home, and now they need to move through with the third.
And Delight's tactical mind on the Mei here has been such an asset for GC Busan Wave. He keeps getting a wall to block off the Holt hooks, making sure that threat is mitigated. And not only that, he allows for his own team to have obscured Holt hooks in counter, because you know that everyone's moving out, they're moving forward trying to get these picks. And when they do that, they're actually very much exposed to the same tactic being used themselves. Django and Kaiser bring themselves up against the wall again.
And double amplification matrix. Transcendence from Youngbong, yeah, that's a one-shot headshot. Very good. Pelican at right-click and Delight.
That's going to do a lot of damage.
It does about, I'll give you the exact calculation, Harry, about 1 billion. There's the Blizzard being used. However, problem is, Jandu has the Fortify, and he's going to be okay, as well as Forde using that Transcendence to keep him alive. So Blizzard negated from the side of GC Busan Wave, who can now build up towards their own. They're 50% and have a Dragon Strike available to them as well.
Cost him a Transcendence, and Django catches himself a headshot. I'm not sure if he got hit with both a Hanzo and a Mei headshot there. That would have been 400 damage in total. At any rate, not ideal. Django gonna have to wait for him to respawn. He may have 4 hooves, but they're not very fast. You can see him clopping along right there. He's got the supercharge ready to go, Jaws. But he may want to save this until after they've used the Dragon Strike to allow Edison to build his next one 50% faster for all of the damage boost he is going to get. And now, the wall isn't available, Jaws. That means that it's going to be very difficult to mitigate incoming Holt hook combinations, whereas Delight can mitigate it very easily.
A Dragon Strike buying them some space and buying them some time. So crucially, Jungle goes low, but Immortality Field will be there for the time being. A nice little hold, a nice little hook. Mandu instantly going down. And now Pelican in trouble. His ice blocks next to the payload. Instantly killed off by Wright, who was elevated actually as the wall was tried to use to escape. Pelican falling here is going to be a bit of a problem. GC Busan can now move forward with Delight and hold them at these spawn doors with the walls themselves. Plus they have that Blizzard. Edison coming back on Doomfist as well to buy some more space and time. Krong jumps onto the payload to try and stall for some extra, but gets instantly taken out, as well as that amplification matrix being used on the sidelines. Proper clicking heads, but he still needs to get on this payload. Django takes him out. A couple more meters will do it. This Transcendence is going to fade away in no time at all.
2 picks won't be enough, unfortunately. Everyone's getting taken down. The Youngbong's got one for himself. The car's just too close. Cannot get people there in time. You can see that Krong's just about arrived. A valiant attempt to the stall there from O2 Blast, but GC Busan Wave, they look reinvigorated, Jaws. And Delight's Mei has been such a huge part of that. It feels like he's outbraining right now his counterpart in Pelican.
It's hook. I can imagine this is a hook. No, it's a hog on the side.
Okay. Just deny the ability to touch.
Very good. Krong got on the point. Amp Matrix went down, but the problem was actually on the other side. He managed to pick up Edison, which is super nice, and then pick up Daydream, but we're not great at contesting the cart. It gets taken out. I mean, the ideal situation there is that you have the Widow behind the Amp Matrix, but a 2-pronged attack is what they kind of went for. And in those crucial situations as well, you're picking one of the 2 spawn doors. What do you think is more advantageous to you? You're like, okay, so I'll just pick this door. And as soon as you kind of start traveling towards it, you're like, oh God, Baptiste's on the other one. Like, maybe I should have gone that way. It's a little bit too late. You need to have a very, very high impact play, to be fair, which is what Proper did end up achieving, picking off 2 people, but it just wasn't enough to actually secure them the fight. But it's those small fractions of seconds, those small moments of indecisiveness or problems where you're not kind of coordinating with the rest of your team and not getting the most use of that amplification matrix that may have been the saving grace for them on that last push of GC Busan.
And sometimes, George, it's not about decision making; it's about forcing there to be one choice to be made out of 2 bad endings. And in that case, it was that Krong had to use his defense matrix to get towards Ritz with the whole hog, otherwise he wouldn't have been able to touch the car. But he used all his defense matrix to get to the car. And guess what that means? When you land there, Delight's like, oh, no defense matrix either, huh? Well, guess what? I've got myself a Blizzard. They're going for a much more aggressive hold here compared to what we saw O2 Blast on the defense. You can see right now that Delight is lining up that wall, hoping to catch someone out as they move through. Pelican is not going to be a victim of that. Instead, he's going to be up in the sky. No way to wall him off unless he runs out of fuel, but that would be some very poor fuel management from a Contenders level player.
This positioning from Django is so aggressive. He kind of got booped out of the shield and then had to run back to the mini health pack to try and gain some cover in that small alcove. They still managed to get him out alive, but they used the immortality field, but Riz actually gets picked off on the side. He was isolated once again, and Pelican now ruling the roost up in the skies. He's going to have that barrage online also soon. O2 Blast kind of steamrolling GC Busan right now. Halt, a hook wasn't necessary as the Fortify was forced out on Jungle's side.
Fortify's been used, now you can go for a free hook onto that Orisa, but not if you're going to be looking through the Matrix jaws.
Yeah, you're dead. There's no way you're surviving that one. Nice little use of it there on the corner, of course, to get the best angle possible, but Pelican's still alive. There's no one to contest him. No one can get an angle, and Daydream's now dead. They eventually get a halt on him, but Ritz and Edison can't follow that up, and he still survives and is still doing so much work in the back line.
They need their tanks back. They need that meat proper right now. Is going to have to try and rejoin the fight. Edison under pressure, but almost has himself the Dragon Strike.
Ho being used to force everybody off the point. That Blizzard being used as well. But look at this Transcendence from Myeongbong. It lasts for so long. And Krong eventually gets taken out, yes. And actually Pelican too. Unleash the barrage. But the problem was, you're isolated, you're alone, and you're dead. But Myeongbong actually comes back with this. Proper fights to kill onto Daydream is skimming out of the way of Edison. Edison went for the chase, and Proper on the back line goes for the massive flank and picks off Edison. He may have gone down, yes, but O2 Blast now can just jump onto the rest of the points. The spawn positions from GC Busan are so far away, there's nothing they can do. And Proper almost single-handedly went in that fight.
Oh, unfortunate Edison, he knows he can't leave Proper alone in that backline. He knows that means there's no disengagement space for Fielder if he allows that Hanzo to live. Unfortunately, he didn't have the proper cooldown on Sonic Arrow. Proper was more than ready. He laid it down in that corner. He was so ready for 1v1. Had the sights available so that he could land that headshot, get the clutch, and now he's so far ahead on the Dragon Strike again. But of course, these ults are going to build up super quickly. We talk about how the supercharger helps. As long as you don't put it down in front of the car so it runs him over, so it's a little bit behind him. Going to break down that wall rather quickly as both teams jostle for position, and one supercharger's already dead.
Dragon Strike was pretty good, but there was no hold to actually follow it up. I said it was Sonic Arrow, seeing when they're backing off to, and now Prop can go for a cheeky flank. Just waiting for someone squishy to peek their head around the corner. Daydream's going to be okay, though, using that Amp Matrix to make sure O2 Blast know their place. It's kind of interesting, to be fair. We're seeing O2 Blast and GC Busan Wave. If they both have Supercharger or they both have Amp Matrix, they're willing to trade that like straight up. They'll go, okay, you use Supercharger, we use Supercharger. You use the Amp Matrix, we'll use Amp Matrix as well.
Yeah, but that time, they didn't really have to trade out at all. Daydream just used his and disengagement was there. But now, GC Busan Wave, they have control of the car. If they back off too much here, it could get away from them. O2 Blast going to keep that contested. If they can force a disengagement, could be disastrous. But speaking of disasters...
Who was behind the shield? Edison was behind the shield. Who was not behind the shield? Proper wasn't behind the shield.
Basic play, boys.
Edison's got the Dragon Strike. Unleashes it through the building, but an early Transcendence as soon as that sound cue came off. A nice little wall there, but it doesn't really do all too much. The Transcendence still getting a lot of value. Not anymore, though, as the Blizzard did come through. Delight landing on the back line, blizzarding everybody. Transcendence fades away, and so do the lights in the eyes of O2 Blast. 2 minutes and 30 seconds now remains for them. They've got a lot of ults available, or at least coming up. That Amp Matrix and something you mentioned before can be used to charge so many ultimates, including Pelican and Proppers, to get them online so fast. GC Busan Wave, they have the tools in their back pocket though to kind of mitigate a lot of that damage coming through. They have the Trance and a window of their own.
Well, it's time to test our theory, Jaws, if we are going to trade those amplification matrices once more. You know that if Mandu pops his first, there is potential for GC Busan Wave to back off. They don't want to give away that free cart space, so the onus is a lot more on Daydream to hold his until Mandu puts down his own so they can have that trade. If Daydream puts his down, that's fine. O2 Blast have a bit of time to just back off.
Matrix trade out for Supercharger. Okay, there's the trade. Not exactly 1-for-1, as Daydream does have his Amp Matrix still available. And Ritz on the sidelines, Harry, very sneaky, has that self-destruct. Trying to get to eat, potentially, on a maybe Blizzard that's coming up. We, of course, can see that Pelican is only 2% away. Ritz whips the ult in the back line, finds 2. Pelican and Kaiser will end up going down. And now O2 Blast, once again, forced back to their spawn. And they have about 1.5 pushes remaining. 1 minute and 20 seconds. But by the time they get back to this payload, it's going to be just under a minute remaining.
Yeah, not a fan of Mandu's positioning of the amplification matrix. So it was right at the end of a street. Are you expecting GC Busan Waves to just stand in the way of that? It's simple geometry and it's a simple solution. GC Busan Wave go around the corner. They're like, okay, you guys can push the carts to the corner. We don't really care. We're just going to have a supercharger here, force you to move on forward. Pelican has the Blizzard ready to go, Jaws. It's one of the most important ultimates in this entire meta. Question is, can it be mitigated? Wright can eat it. Needs to make sure that doesn't happen.
Wright is up on the high ground. This is exactly what he needs to do right now. Delight has got his ult online as well. If they do trade once again, this is going to be very in favor of GC Busan, who have already actually killed a Kaiser. Nice little cheeky headshot there by by Delight. And GC Busan now have to defend for another 30 seconds. It's disastrous for O2 Blast. Pelican dying here as well with ult. Could be their saving grace, to be fair. Him not using it here and using it in the next fight could be what they need, but they're running into a support ultimate. They're running into two, in fact, as that window is still available from Daydream. Amp Matrix could just seal the deal.
And they can put it down on top of this area where they're all sitting, Jaws. There's so much damage that can come through from field. It's going to be so hard to dislodge them. You've got to move down that main street into this. This is disgusting.
The wall is there, though, Harry, to stop a lot of that damage. But Kaiser goes down first up yet again. Both visitors are thrown out as Kron gets demexed. He has got the self-destruct, but it's going to be all on him to try and find kills with it, because Proper can't do all of anything. Self-destruct launch high in the sky, but the rest of GC Busan were able to get out alive. And now the Dragon's Medicine unleashed on the payload to clear everybody off. OT is in session with only Myungpong doing the damage with the Coalescence, but it's all too little and too late as GC Busan will force them all off the payload. OT will tick through, and they manage to keep themselves in the series with a win on King's Row.
And Shangu won the duel. Orisa versus Reaper. How often do you see that happen, Jaws? Very rare. The jungle's looking great on this Orisa, and it's a huge asset right now to GC Busan Wave. It's meant that they can win this series. Like we said before, it's a de facto best of 3. It's going to all be decided on Escort. O2 Blast can bring out the 3-3 here again, but GC Busan Wave, I'm a huge fan of what Delight's doing right now. He's an artisanal Mave. The man is a myth, a legend. His tactical thinking with these walls is a huge asset.
Yeah, and you can see how much of an asset it's being, because Kaiser's getting killed first. He's the one getting isolated. He's the one who's getting targeted down. And with that win, best of 3 in session, 1 apiece. We're going to jump on to Dorado as our last map of the day. We'll see you guys in a moment. Hey guys, welcome back to O2 Blast versus GC Busan. GC Busan take King's Row, holding just before second in order to secure themselves at least 1 map in the series. O2 Blast want to continue the dominance, though. They are 6-0. They want 7-0. They want the undefeated season going into playoffs. So we're going to come down to Dorado as our next map.
That it is, and you got to wonder if we're going to continue to see the arrest here. I think it's very likely Junggu, I imagine, is going to be staying in for GC Busan Wave. We're going to see Ion on the bench a lot. At the beginning of the season, I didn't think that was actually going to be a thing. I thought, okay, they're bringing Junggu to play Wrecking Ball, and occasionally Farah for weird reasons, but if we looked at 2-2-2, Junggu on the Orisa, big skill on the hero, and he's going to be a huge part of their strategy moving forward in the 2-2-2 meta, because having a good Orisa is essential, and it seems like he's very much on the same page as Ritz all the time.
Yeah, until the meta changes, an Orisa is needed. Dorado is the map, of course, like I said before. And now O2 Blast. Well, they've been doing really wrong. I mean, I don't think there's much they've been doing incredibly wrong. I think it's just a light on the May that's just been popping off, especially on King's Row. Yeah, just outclassing. And I said at the end of that map, the easiest way to tell is like, okay, so where's the Orisa being played and how is Delight focusing? He's mainly focusing on trying to isolate Kaiser, take him out of the fight, and then as soon as the shield goes down, well, there's not really much else O2 Blast can do. They can hide around the cover, yes, but then you're just in firing range of the Hanzo, the May, of course, and the Orisa, which obviously does a surprising amount of damage if you just let us set up for just a moment.
Is with how Delight's playing at the moment, Krong needs to be eating more of his blizzards. Like, I know that as a diva right now, it's very difficult to be eating that ultimate because May just beelines for you, freezes you, and then uses blizzard. But I'm seeing a lot of blizzards that are done while Krong is free, as it were, on the diva. maybe he's having his defense matrix tracked, but when we came into the series, I bigged up Krong. I say that he eats a lot of ultimates, whether it's Graviton Surges, Dragon Strikes, Pulse Bombs in some cases, Blizzards. Right now, the Light, weaving it on through. It's like the Eye of a Kaiser, but instead it's like the Eye of a Snowball instead.
Well, you got to watch out, man. It's just a bit of a forehead moment. It's just eat the Blizzard, man.
Blizzard comes at you fast.
Just eat it. But Blizzard, one of the more slower ultimates, like projectile ultimates. Of course, you have like Pulse Bomb, Dragon Strike Arrow, for example. But it is one of the more slower timed ultimates, one of the easier ones to eat, unless you do kind of throw it at the ground, which is what most Meis do nowadays to stop the cast time being about an eternity. If you do throw it up in the air, of course, that's going to be easily eaten. Slowest projectile in the world, it feels like. It's almost, I want to know if it's the same speed. I think it's slower than new Farah projectile rocket, but I wonder if it's the same speed as old projectile rocket. I don't actually know. It feels the same speed as the old rockets anyway.
It is a quite slow projectile. We're actually seeing Proper now move over onto the Farah instead of Pelican, who's picking up the Hamzah duty. So we're now seeing double projectile. This is because evidently they've identified that jungle is a huge issue for this team, Jules. They need to remove all the freedom he has when you're going up against a Mei. Mei doesn't have a huge amount of shield pressure, but it does have positioning pressure. Instead, they're breaking jungle's shield, making him feel vulnerable, trying to mess with him. That'll mess with Marissa.
Nice hook. Does survive somehow, though. Miracle. Kaiser ends up getting out alive with only the healing orb of Myeonbong even. Mandu is going to be up in the skies more often than not with Proper, so Kaiser's going to take a little bit of time to actually heal up here. You can see Proper on the back line, causing a lot of pressure to be exerted, and the issue with that is there's going to have to... The shield position is going to have to be so good from Jungler to actually stop a lot of this damage coming through. But Mandu does end up going down to Edison. A quick and clean headshot does finish his life rather readily, and now Proper has to back off, regardless of how much ult charge he does have.
Given that OC Blast are playing Mercy Zen, I would like to see Proper actually playing a little bit closer to his team here. You need to allow Mandu, that conduit, to go back and heal up for Zenyatta should it be required. We saw that Kaiser took so long to get himself healed up because he's only got 38 HPS. That means you're waiting like 11 or 12 seconds as an Orisa to get your health back, and that's a lot of time wasted. Okay, you're going to be out of the fight for a couple of seconds again now, unless you use the trans, of course.
Whole hog being used. Transcendence was expended, yeah, by Myeonbong. Mandu's actually going to pop his ult as well. Barrage! Oh dear! He didn't get killed instantly. Damage is done though, as Wright ends up going down. At least Forde took him out. But the problem is, someone's on the back line. It's Pelican. He's trying to just snipe people on the sidelines. The rest of O2 Blast are kind of corralling to try and kill off Edison. They got the shield in place, so they can just play behind that rather easily, but I don't think they're going to need to be fair. They still have that Dragon Strike as well. Straight through the door. The window didn't stand really much of a chance. They can't use it at all if that Dragon Strike is just sailing on through it and actually forces out a Transcendence here from Forde. GC Busan have nothing left in their tanks to use as Kaiser has got that bongo coming up. They're going to need to focus him down, and actually that's exactly what they just do. And now only a minute and 30 seconds out remain. O2 Blast, it looks so good for them. They made GC Busan use pretty much every single ult, but they still managed to kill Kaiser.
See, Delight, Jungle, and Ritz, they know that Myeonbong's the only healing that Kaiser has, because Mandu right now is babysitting Proper, so just wall behind him, W into him. He'll use Fortify, it doesn't matter. He doesn't have enough healing unless Myeonbong uses a Transcendence, and you know that he's already done that. Pelican's going to try and break the shield, but it's only himself and Proper right now. But just looking for an early pick, trying to facilitate this fight to move forward. Kaiser used for Supercharger. It's a lot of damage that's going to occur.
Dragon Strike on the back. Nice little ice block there. You're actually out of the way and out of the line of sight of the Immortality field, so you're not able to use that to its fullest effect. Pelican does find the kill onto Edison and Proper setting up with another barrage. He can unleash it whenever he so chooses, straight in the doorway and kills off Daydream, but Forde once again is going to check in. GC Busan aren't out of this just yet, but the resurrection's going to come through from O2 Blast, meaning Myeonbong can actually use the Transcendence to force everybody forward. What a perfect res target from Mandu to keep his other support up and alive in the fight.
And he is. Krong going to try and keep this alive right here. They managed to eat the Blizzard. Finally, good job, Krong.
He did it. Doomfist versus Doomfist. Proper is the better Doomfist currently. Does manage to kill off Edison and kill off Daydream. And finally, OT Blast, on what felt like an age, and I'm sure it felt like an age to them as well, managed to secure first point. GC Busan have got a lot of ults online. A couple of swap ups for both teams. Of course, the Doomfists are switching out. The snipers this time around have got Proper on the Widow and Edison on the Hamzah.
And luckily, Mandu once again is going to be able to pay attention to his tanks. I was actually very concerned about Krong going over to this D.Va, because that's another tank that doesn't have any self-sustain. You can sort of like solo heal the Orisa when you only have the orb. Krong's actually just been whole hogged. That's forced out the self-destruct. That's not good.
Yeah, problem was found out as well. He tried to go for a sneaky flank on the Widowmaker. Edison was right on top of him, did manage to get the kill, but Resurrection is going to come through with the help of Krong, who did aid his Mercy, making sure she didn't get picked off either.
Incoming Dragon Strike. Rift's going to move away from that. No huge danger presents GC Busan Wave as they counter-attack now. They've already lost for Supercharge. That's a terrible placement.
Nice little hook, though. Perfect onto Pelican. Edison is going to fall as well, though, but the Immortality field keeping everybody from GC Busan alive and well. Hook onto the corner doesn't quite net anything, but O2 Blast are still going to get tempered here. The problem is they're actually making up a few swap-ups here. Pelican switching over to the Mei to jump onto the Pharah for a brief second, but decided to lock into the Mei for the time. And now Delight is going to be such a far ahead of Pelican right now. You can see 65 versus basically 0. I mean, he's got 5%. It's really just nothing but passive charge right now.
Lots of shield pressure coming in here. Kaisers is already down, and Delight's going to be trading out those icicles. Nothing to be hooked there. Good shield placement. And remember, Krong doesn't have himself a hook on that D.Va. So a lot of danger coming through from that Rotor.
Yeah, Delight is going to get saved for the time being. Amplification Matrix once again available for Daydream, unleashes it, as well as that Immortality field. 2 big cooldowns now used for Daydream. They don't find anything just yet, but a little bit of space. Actually, a kill onto Proper will be netted. And now they can just move forward onto this payload, knowing that the only real damage is coming through from Pelican, but a quick melee from Ritz does finish his life off. And now, with only 30 seconds remaining, O2 Blast need to step up the gears in order to push this payload on.
They do. They are looking down the barrel of potentially a very early hold from O2 Blast right here. Or rather, from GC Busan Wave. They're going in so many ultimate shores. If you use a Blizzard and it doesn't get eaten here by Krong, you can follow that up with a load of supercharged players, even players going through the amplification matrix. There's no way you're going to be able to survive that, even if you have a Transcendence, which you won't have. There is the first hold. They've got the supercharged down already.
Oh, Blizzard being used though, man. Straight on top of that Blizzard. That was their only real tool. And Edison already takes out Dangu. Proper's going to fall down as well. That Blizzard in the back, making sure that O2 Blast can't touch this payload. This is going to be it. O2 Blast fallen. GC Busan holding this payload just after the first point. What a showing at the latter half of this series. I've really started to come alive. And O2 Blast, they won this perfect season. They are currently 6-0. They've guaranteed themselves a spot in the playoffs, of course, and actually a spot in the latter half of the playoffs as well. But GC Busan might disrupt that perfect 7-0 scoreline, and what a proud moment for them, defeating the undefeated team in the very last week.
If they want that 7-0 Jaws, it's got to be an early hold. Ideally on first, holding on second, it would be so difficult because of how close the spawns of the attackers are and how far away the defenders are. It's so difficult to hold at that point, but it was so well coalesced from GC Busan Wave. They were all playing so well in terms of how they could operate safely. And one of the things, I bring it back to Delight a lot because he's just an exemplar of how to play it. He plays the Mei both aggressively and safely because he plays it right behind the jungle shield. And that means whenever there's potential for him to be caught out by a Dragon Strike, he always has the Ice Block available. You never catch him unawares without that cooldown because he's always playing so perfectly around the shields.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do when GC Busan Wave just holds you after first? O2 Blast need to come up with something rather special here in order to hold themselves in this series and hold on to their perfect record. Proper is going to be on the Widowmaker, sitting rather far up. I mean, you might as well. Although you've got to be scared of the Holt hooks as always.
Yeah, Proper here will have a lot of pick potential, but you will not have the shield pressure Jaws, meaning that it's going to be very easy for Junker to have a lot of shield uptime here. Between Mei and Widowmaker, you're really not doing a huge amount of damage. It's mostly going to be down to Krong to try and make that work. Ritz is going to be picking up as his off-tank for D.Va instead. They're going to try and mitigate incoming halts and, of course, incoming fire from the Mei, from the Widowmaker. That's a lot to worry about. We've got our picture-in-picture right here. Edison's on the flank, sneaking around. They've got the potential to make a big engagement with a speed boost and the Bardic Grasp with a Moirai Jaws where everyone can be healed up the second that Edison gets into position.
Coalescence is going to be coming online rather fast as well. Those already up to 30%. Nice little hold so far. Daydream and Ritz end up going down. The issue is with the Moirai when you're not running a diva on the other side is that you basically get free healing. Like O2 Blast have no way to deny the orbs coming out, the damage orb or the healing orb, and that's going to be a big boon for Forde, especially coming up into these next fights where he can basically guarantee himself a coalescence.
And he can. Mandu, though, needs
nice
to pay more attention. He allowed Myeonbong to die, but Proper there saves his team. Myeonbong would have taken time to get back. Now he's got the time to do that while we see Edison respawn. And of course, Edison's being checked so well here, and something that's going to help him to be checked as well. Proper's got the infrasight ready to go. No sneaky shenanigans can come through from a Reaper. He's going to have to play behind the shield unless he wants to get isolated, picked off early. There's the sights. Now everyone is revealed. They can go for these plays. A good block from the Fortify, though.
Good block. They're going to charge on forward. I mean, they have to at this point. Their coalescence is going to get unleashed as well. Proper takes out Jungkook and a nice headshot as well onto Edison. It's what we want to see from Proper on the defense. They got another couple attempts to GC Busan. Still 2 minutes in the time bank. That's about 3 to 4 attempts. Depending on how quick everybody gets back to the payload, of course. Proper starting to come up alive. He wants the series, man. They want to land themselves at 7-0.
They want 7-0. 2 minutes stands between them and holding on first to secure that particular place. O2 Blast, they're going to have themselves the Amplification Matrix in the Blizzard for the next fight. They've already used the Amplification Matrix. No! Stop! Jesus, we said wave just like, okay, we just won't take this fight. Can teams stop doing this?
Super early usage. I mean, Baptiste does get it up fairly early, like very quickly, Harry, but yeah, I see what you mean. Proper wants it. Hey! He has damage boost from Supercharger. That's basically a one-shot onto Jungkook. Unfortunate. And Delight's going to get frozen up as well. Now 1 minute and 30 seconds. Another 30 seconds is going to get burnt off the time bank. OT Blast have ults to spare too.
Thing is, Jaws, they used 2 amplification ultimates, so they only basically got 1 kill off of it. That's not the ultimate generation that you want cyclically. You use it to build up your damage ultimates, to build up your Roadhog ultimate, but you don't get that because both times GC Busan Wave were just able to go out. They didn't even have a speed boost, it was so early. They could just say, okay, we'll press S. Now they can come in with this Blizzard. There's no mitigation condition apart from Myeonbong using...
Oh boy.
Wow.
That's not what you want to see if you're Jungkook. Proper double tapping you. Pelican and Delight both use their ults, but Proper... Okay, this is looking extraordinarily winnable now for O2 Blast. Proper is on fire, has been unkilled as well on this hold so far. GC Busan now 30 seconds remaining.
Where has this Widowmaker been the entire series, Jaws? Wright's possibly going to have to just try and zone him away, send a self-destruct this way, make sure Proper isn't an issue. He's got the infrasight active. They can't engage right now. But this does mean that Edison will have the chance to try and move in. He isn't actually on the Reaper anymore, he's on the Hanzo. He can try and maybe duel out with Proper. He can send those his way. If there's a good shield angle here, Proper can get behind it. But for now, just with some wave, they got to crawl forward. No one going to get picked off this time. It's all coming down to his final fight for O2 Blast here if they want to get that 7-0 at this juncture.
Self-destruct launched in, finds out absolutely no one. Ult straight on to Jungkook. This is the point that you need to kill him. He has 5% towards that ult. The whole hog's going to finish him off. And now OT's in session. O2 Blast now on the point. Nothing really stopping them. They've got their main tank up. Proper is alive and well as well. He's on the sidelines trying to duel out against Edison. But he knows all he needs to do is stay alive in order to win this series. There's a couple of meters before the payload reaches the spot. But the issue is no picks have been found by GC Busan.
Manda remains alive. Pelican returns on the Doomfist. He can't get anyone with the first punch. He can make his engage with the Supercharger, though.
The Immortality Field's going to get used as well. On to the sidelines is the Hanzo. Edison escapes alive for the time being and managed to kill off Mandu. Price is going to fall as well. GC Busan coming back with vengeance as Transcendence is used to make sure they can win this fight. A couple of meters remain. They cap the payload, but they still need to push around this corner. O2 Blast have potentially one more fight here to secure the series, but GC Busan have got it in their clutches.
It's not over yet. The boot is on the other. It looks so good for O2 Blast. They're moving over to full dive, Jaws. Any roguers in the chat? We've got ourselves some old school vibes right here. They're going to be able to move forward with their Transcendence. They've got one chance to do this. They cannot afford to get caught out by the Blizzard. Krong needs to be the hero. If he cannot eat this ultimate, this dive is doomed, Jaws. Absolutely doomed.
The Light's got it, man. He's ready for that Matrix. You just freeze him up and it's pretty much as good as done. Mardu starts off the fight though extremely well, picking off Daydream. A Transcendence is going to be there to subvert all of that damage, but the problem is they've still got the Dragons and they've still got a lot of time in their bank as well. 3 minutes now remain. Proper finds a melee kill onto Delight, but Forde and the rest of GC Busan Wave are being kept alive. There is too much healing and too much sustain from GC Busan to do anything about. O2 Blast forego the point, and GC Busan will stop and halt O2 Blast from getting the perfect season. They net them the win. They net themselves the win as they move into playoffs next week.
A huge gamble there for O2 Blast did not pay off. GC Busan Wave took the skills they had been honing throughout the entirety of this series and made them work. The Blizzard, the Dragon Strike, the incoming self-destruct, all of them striking Payda. O2 Blast tried to engage with classic dive against Hanzo, against Orisa, against Mei, and an immortality field as well. It was such a risky maneuver, and we just saw that even though we managed to get a pick off onto the Light, you can get those picks, but the time is definitely on GC Busan Wave's side. All their spawners can come back as well after they get picked off.
Well, exactly. Like, you cut the point in OT, and you're like, okay, we capped it in OT. This is fine, because we get two plus extra minutes on our time bank. Okay, good stuff. Now we can just move around this corner. We have, at minimum, 2 fights in that 2 minutes and 30-ish seconds, right? There is absolutely no way they don't get a fight where they have ultimates online. Because you swap up your comp on O2 Blast side, you just cannot do much about your own ult bank. You're just hoping and praying that you're able to build up something in that fight to stop